This video is about to get very surgical. There are some things in the files that don't have any documentation, don't have anything, right? But then when you start talking about the president, you start talking about Bill Gates and all these guys, politicians on both sides of the spectrum. That's when you start seeing emails. That's when you start seeing pictures. That's when you start seeing conversations and talking about these crazy things, like insane things, right? But that's to say that all things in the Epstein files are not weighed the same. And let's break that down. The Justice has released millions of pages of previously undisclosed materials connected to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation as part of transparency efforts. Multiple outlets report that both Pusha T and Jay-Z's names appear in a document described as an FBI crisis intake report. That's key. A log of a call made to the FBI hotline in 2019. Already, that is the major difference between where you see Pusha and Jay-Z's names and where you see these other guys' names. These other guys' names have emails attached to them, pictures, conversations, all this stuff. This was a phone call that was made. Now, does that mean that everybody has never done anything? No, nobody's saying that. But if we're looking at the context of this scenario, there's a huge difference there, right? And it has to be reported regardless. Let's continue. The purported document places their names alongside others like Harvey Weinstein in the context of alleged wrongdoing relayed by a third party. So their names are pretty much aligned with Harvey Weinstein in this call, okay? The key is that these are unverified tips, not charges, indictments, or evidence of guilt, which is why the FBI did not move on this. And this is all the way back in 2019. This is why they haven't made a move on this, because it's somebody making a phone call. It's nowhere near the same as what we can see with the President of the United States. That's a completely different thing. Crisis intake reports are preliminary logs of information received. They do not prove any factual connection or wrongdoing. So there's no indication from official government sources that either artist is under investigation or has been charged with anything in connection to Epstein's crimes. Independent verification of the specific documents circulating online has not been confirmed. Okay, so this is key. The people who are pushing this, right, they are banking on the fact that people are already looking at the Epstein's files as anybody that's been named in there, anybody that's whatever, is automatically on the logs or in cahoots with what's going on. When in reality, that's not the case. You feel what I'm saying? So then, bottom line, right now, reports that Jay-Z and Pusha T are in the Epstein files refer to their names appearing in the FBI intake report, which is simply a record of a tip from a caller and not proof of any crime or verified involvement. There are no charges, investigations, or confirmed factual allegations based on these references alone. That's key to understand. You feel what I'm saying? This is someone making a call. Yes, Pusha T and Jay-Z technically show up in the Epstein files. But if you generalize the Epstein files, you can make people believe that Jay-Z and Pusha T are in there for the same reasons the president is in there. And that's just not the case, okay? There are no charges, investigations, or confirmed factual allegations. That's key. Presence of a name in an intake report does not equate to a verified allegation, right? So the allegation hasn't even been verified. Evidence of involvement with Epstein. So there's no proof that they have any direct link to Epstein or the whatever, a legal accusation or charge. Their names do not appear in Epstein's personal logs, flight manifests, or confirmed records of his operations based on earlier released and indexed documents. This is key to understanding, okay? We are not looking at Jay-Z and Pusha T in the same light as Bill Gates, okay? There's no emails, there's no pictures, there's none of that. As a matter of fact, a lot of the things that have been removed from the Epstein files. I just seen one of these guys up there talking about, man, I don't even want to repeat it, man. Never mind. I'm not even gonna repeat it. But it's a lot of crazy, insane things that have been removed from these files. And Jay-Z and Pusha T are not in that same regard. It's just facts. There's nothing to argue about. There's nothing to debate. If you have your perception on Jay-Z, which I understand and I've felt certain similar ways or whatever, but when Jay-Z is doing his due diligence, beating these cases or whatever, you got to give the benefit of the doubt respectfully, at least. And from my perspective, looking at that and understanding that lesson, it's key to look into these things before we just jump on them and say, this is true. This is a fact. Yes, anyone can call the FBI hotline to report tips, suspicious activity, or potential federal crimes. The line is open 24/7, 365, and callers can remain anonymous. Reports can also be submitted online. No, you do not need hard evidence or formal proof to call the FBI hotline or submit a tip online. The FBI encourages reporting suspicious activity, observed behavior, or potential threats based on your knowledge. Tips can be submitted anonymously. So you don't even got to give your name. You don't even got to get all that. You feel what I'm saying? And yeah, that's what's going on. You can do this. You can make these calls and report these tips. And that's exactly what happened. Challenge you to get surgical. You feel what I'm saying? I'm going to challenge you to become the surgeon in this situation because I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to be able to complete this video. So I'm going to leave you with a slew of pictures. I'm going to leave you with a slew of tweets. I'm going to leave you with a slew of a few things that you can look into and come to a conclusion for yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Conclusions that I think a lot of people have already come to, but I want to see what you think. All right? Like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new here, especially if you've been here. Watch the rest of the video until the end, and I'm going to catch y'all soon, all right?